Hello everyone, welcome. Let's discuss the latest episode of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 4. Before we do that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so that you won't miss any further videos. But let's get right into this. We finally got the taglines, which they were pretty good. And the opening is Louis and Teresa, they're together, and he tells her about what went down with Joe when they were hanging out. And she feels bad that Louis' family is so nice to her and that he has to deal with her family who isn't too nice with him. Teresa is also very bothered by just the way that Joe speaks to him, specifically cussing at Louis. So she doesn't like that. And next, Joe and Melissa are in the home that is still being built, and they as well are talking about what happened. So Joe brings up that Louis and Teresa are bothered about the podcast, and that their conversation, they're trying like their hardest to justify themselves for doing that podcast. So then we start seeing both scenes simultaneously, Louis and Teresa and Joe and Melissa. So Louis is filling Teresa in that Joe is pissed that Melissa's family wasn't invited. And it's kind of funny because Teresa says, okay, wait a minute. I'm not even close enough to Melissa for her to be in my wedding. Why would I be close to her family? And then she says, it's not like they, when they had the party for their daughter, invited Louis' family, which they say they don't care, but it's the same argument. So then Teresa calls Joe on the phone and asks if he wants to make peace. So, he is really dry. He's giving like one-word answers. She tells him that he should come to the housewarming party that she's going to be having. And he says, I don't know. And this is where I disconnect with Joe and Melissa and what they are claiming. Because they say that they feel a way about Teresa putting them to the side and this and that. But when she tries to fix it, like a few episodes ago when she asked Melissa to be a bridesmaid, and now this, they're putting no effort at all. So why is it all falling on Teresa? The next scene is Dolores with her mom and kid. Love Dolores, love her family. They discuss a little bit about Paulie, but the son wants to know what's going on with Paulie and his dad, Frank. And Dolores says that honestly, Paulie wants to be with Dolores, not with Dolores and Frank all the time, which I totally get. Then we get a scene with Jennifer and her husband Bill. They have a little date. They're eating and talking a little bit about the kids because it looks like she spoils them a little bit too much, and that seems to be a problem with Bill. But then she brings up that, well, you bought a Ferrari. And then they start to get a little angry. She's really angry at him because she feels like sometimes he is against her. Like when she was in that problem with Dolores, she felt like he could have supported her more instead of like removing her from the situation. But I understand, like, why would he want his wife to be fighting? I get why he took her out, but she's not really listening to what he's saying, and she gets very upset, and he's kind of upset too. Then we move on to a scene with two newbies. It's Rachel and then Jennifer Fessler, the new friend of the show, which I kind of like her, by the way, so far from what I've seen. So they're getting to know each other, and it looks like they've clicked. So they're having some lunch, talking about the drama that happened at the mozzarella party. And someone who they have a little bone with is Jennifer Aydin. So Jennifer asked Rachel at the mozzarella party if she had a nose job, which didn't really like offend her. But Jennifer called her later to talk smack about Dolores, who Rachel likes very much. Then Jennifer Fessler says that Jennifer Aydin called her too and started to talk smack about Margaret, and that Margaret is jealous and this and that. But Jennifer Fessler is really good friends with Margaret. So it's funny because Jennifer Aydin called them to talk smack about their friends. So for them, it's giving them kind of like a red flag regarding Jennifer Aydin. Next scene is Dolores and Margaret really quickly. They are just chopping around a plant store. They're kikiing about the husbands because they filled them in on what happened on guys' night. So they call Melissa on the phone, and Marge is always egging her on, saying that Teresa is so wrong for not inviting her mom, blah, blah, blah. And Melissa says that Joe is livid and doesn't even want to go to the housewarming party. So it's finally the day for Teresa's housewarming party. Joe decides ultimately not to go because he says that he is not ready and that he would feel uncomfortable, which I do kind of get that. And Teresa's telling her daughters, because he texted her, And they become really vocal, and they are saying that he and Melissa should be happy for her for finding love. But then people start to arrive, great vibes, food, drinks, the house looks great. Even Margaret came in with a great attitude. And you guys might think this is weird, but I love seeing when there's parties or events when like these housewife shows. I love seeing everybody greet each other, saying hi, hugging, etc. Is that weird? Let me know. And there were also a lot of gifts. People were bringing some great gifts for that housewarming. I will say there is some tension with Jennifer Aydin because Margaret found out what she has been saying to the new girls. Then Melissa arrives alone, which honestly, her arriving alone is making a pretty big statement. Then Melissa says hi to Gia and Gabriella, and I gotta say it is the most awkward conversation I've ever seen. They talk a little bit about small talk, and then Melissa takes it up a notch in the confessionals and says that she knows that the girls have hate in their heart towards them, which hate is a pretty big word. I mean, I'll just say that. But eventually Teresa and Louis make a little speech thanking everyone, and Teresa says everyone here is our chosen family and we wanted everybody to be here. Was she throwing shade? Possibly. I'm not 100% certain. But Margaret says to Melissa that was so wrong to say. And Melissa goes into what appears to be actress mode, and she says that Teresa saying that is so heartbreaking, and she makes some noises as if she were crying. It's too much for me. This whole thing's making my head hurt. So do you guys remember Danielle and Jackie don't like each other? Because Jackie supposedly said something about Danielle's outfit and she was looking her up and down, so Danielle didn't invite her to the Montreal party. So Melissa goes and tells Jackie what Danielle said because Jackie did make the comments on what she was wearing. So Danielle goes up to Jackie, very sarcastically of course, and says, "Hey, is what I'm wearing appropriate for you?" So they get so angry because they just don't like each other, and they start bickering, and Danielle starts talking with her hands, and Jackie says, "Well, can you please stop? Get your hands away from me." And Danielle says, "You know what? That's just the way I talk." So Jackie, this was such a reach, but she said, "Is that a threat?" And Danielle's like, "Trust me, you will know when I threaten you." Then Margaret goes up to Jennifer and says, "I do not appreciate you calling people to talk about me." And Jennifer says, "That's not exactly how it went." So eventually, as they start to talk, everybody kind of comes together. And Rachel then jumps in and says, "Jennifer, you did the exact same thing to me, calling me and talking bad about Dolores." So then Jennifer gets mad and calls her an effing idiot. And they all start screaming. Dolores is shocked that Jennifer was talking bad about her with somebody else. Jennifer calms down and says that she called Rachel because she felt bad about her horrible nose job. So that was clearly a dig, throwing shade. So Rachel says, "You know what? It's time to leave." But before she does, she says a few other things to Jennifer Aydin. So I guess what Jennifer, the friend, and what Rachel kind of felt is that they, I guess, were thinking that maybe Jennifer Aydin was trying to control them and not wanting them to be friends with Dolores and Margaret. But Jennifer says that that's not it at all. But that's where the episode ends. And but before that, it was funny though, because as Rachel is leaving, Jennifer tells her, "Don't let the door hit you on your way out." And then Rachel turns around really angry and says, "There's no door." So that was kind of funny. I like Rachel and how Danielle handled their situations, like these little problems, because it didn't seem too over the top. Because you know how normally when there's new housewives, they want to make these nuclear reads and arguments, but I think they did just enough to kind of make a splash, but not too much where it was over exaggerated. But like I said, that's where the episode ends. Okay episode, I guess. Nothing too exciting except for that final scene. So you guys, let me know what y'all thought in the comments about this episode, about Joe and Melissa and Teresa, and then how did you think that these new girls did on their first, I guess you could call it, fight. Like I said, let me know, and I'll catch you guys next time. Y'all have a great one. Bye.